Hey everyone, this is Shukesh Bonik from Gadgets Portal, and today I'm going to present you a side-by-side comparison in between these two smartphones. Before I start, I want to mention that there is a huge price difference in between these two phones. On my right, I have the sensational Moto G with 12,500 rupees price tag, and on my left I have the highly popular Galaxy Grand 2. The price of this Grand 2 is 22,000 rupees in India. As you know, there is also a 16 gig version of Moto G priced at around 14,000 rupees. Now the reason behind this very special review is there are a couple of similarities in between these two smartphones, starting from the display resolution to the CPU, GPU, etc. So let's first compare the specs of these two smartphones. As I just mentioned, the CPU and the GPU of both of these smartphones are exactly same. Both of these sports Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 chipset and 1.19 GHz quad-core Cortex A7 processors. The GPU is Adreno 305, as you can see. So the driving power of these two smartphones are same, though there is a huge price difference. Even the display resolution is same 720p, and because of the smaller display size of Moto G, you are getting much better PPI than that of Grand 2. The Android version of Moto G is KitKat 4.4.2, whereas Grand 2 is still running on Android 4.3 Jelly Bean. In the RAM department, Grand 2 beats Moto G badly. It has 1.5 GB of RAM, whereas Moto G sports 1 GB of RAM. So overall, Moto G is a more value for money regarding the specs, and the battery on Moto G is 2070 mAh, whereas Grand 2 has got 2600 mAh. But I'll consider this as a tie because the larger display and the added features of Grand 2 eat up lot more battery than Moto G. You'll get around 2 days or normal to heavy usage on both of these smartphones. Now let's talk about the dissimilarities, and the most noticeable and important difference in between these two smartphones is obviously the size, which is I think the deciding factor here. Grand 2 is a huge smartphone with typical Samsung design and leather-like finish at the back, whereas Moto G has got a rubberized back and the back is also slightly curved for better handling. The build quality also seems very solid because of the nice 143 gram weight, and Moto G can also survive minor water damage. Regarding the exterior design, I'll go for Grand 2 because of its elegant look and decent 5.25 inches display size, which is considered as the standard display size for the flagship smartphones. The 4.5 inches display of Moto G is easily accessible with your thumb, but its look kind of small considering the present trend of large display phones. Obviously, the one-hand handling of Grand 2 is not as good as Moto G, but if you are one of those people who prefer a large display phone, then there should be no confusion here. Just go for this Grand 2. At almost half the price of the flagship phones, you are getting the optimum display size on this Grand 2. Next, the display resolution is HD on both of these smartphones, as you know, but because of the smaller display size of Moto G, the PPI is above the retina threshold, that is, you cannot notice any single pixel with your naked eyes. If you look very closely, then you will notice that everything on the Moto G is very smooth and slightly more colorful than Grand 2. There is a Corning Gorilla Glass 3 protection on the Moto G as well. You are also getting oleophobic coating, which makes the display repellent to fingerprints and also makes it very smooth. It's an IPS display with good viewing angles as well. Now from this normal distance, the display PPI of Grand 2 seems fair, and the white levels of this TFT display is basically more white than that of the display of Moto G. Overall, in the display quality, Moto G is the winner. Now the battery of this Moto G is not user replaceable, and unfortunately there is no card slot as well. So you are basically stuck with your 8 or 16 gig storage. This Grand 2 has got both replaceable battery and also card slot, but the internal storage is up to 8 gig. But still, I'll go for Grand 2 in this segment. I also want to mention here, you can customize the Moto G with 7 different color back covers. So regarding the exterior look and the dimensions, these two phones are from two different worlds, and if price is not a concern, then I'll go for Galaxy Grand 2. Now let's dig into the software, and there is a vital difference here. Moto G is running on stock Android, that is, there is no customization, but the good news is it's updated to Android KitKat 4.4.2. On the other hand, Grand 2's UI is customized TouchWiz, which is very simple, elegant, and also packed with lots of added features. But you can surely customize your Moto G with hundreds of launchers and applications from the Play Store. The KitKat update on the Moto G has brought a new dialer which is very cool. Now as you can see, the dialer on this Grand 2 can be compressed for one hand handling. On the Moto G you will get your dialer minimized, which makes sense because most of the time you will dial from your contacts menu or from your call logs. You don't have to stretch your finger to switch in between your call logs, your contacts and the dialer. When Grand 2 gets the KitKat update, then also the dial pad will be just the same. Though the display of Grand 2 is huge, you can still type with your thumb with the help of this one-handed keyboard. Moto G's keyboard is just perfect for one-hand typing and the continuous input is also very accurate. Grand 2 obviously supports this continuous input. Now there is a feature called space aware gesture support, where you have to just swipe your finger over the space bar to input any space. This is a great feature and currently not available on the keyboard of Grand 2. But you are getting the exclusive handwriting window of Samsung keyboards, which is very accurate and also very user friendly, especially for a display with this dimension. If you feel that the display of Grand 2 is too large for one hand operation, then you can compress the whole display to right or left. You are getting all of your keys along with full access to all the features. There are a lot more added features on this customized user interface. For example, you can take screenshot just by swiping your hand over the screen. You can pause any song or video just by flipping the phone. You can also do the same, that is, you can pause any song or video by putting your hand on the screen. On the Grand 2 there is a feature called Smart Stay, which will prevent the display from turning off as long as you are looking at it. You are also getting the very innovative multi-window feature, that is, you can basically split the display of Grand 2 into two and run two applications simultaneously. In this way you can truly multitask and make a good use of this huge display. So these are the few added features you will not find on the Moto G. Because of the customized UI and the added features, the RAM usage of Grand 2 is more than that of Moto G. At this moment you are getting 334 MB of free RAM on the Moto G. Grand 2 has got 660 MB RAM, so the RAM usage of Grand 2 is though very high, user available is much more than Moto G, which will help you in gaming and also in multitasking. Now on paper both of these smartphones have got the same processing power, but because of the extra added features on the Grand 2, Moto G is much faster than Grand 2 in the user interface. Applications open much before compared to Grand 2, and in fact this is not an issue with this Grand 2 only. Flagship phones like Note 3 S4 also face this type of lagging issue on the TouchWiz user interface. Stock Android devices are always very fast, so you should not blame Samsung for this. The multimedia capabilities of the smartphones are also completely different. For example, in the camera segment, Galaxy Grand 2 excels Moto G, not only in the resolution but also in the quality. But considering the price of Moto G, the camera quality is not bad at all. In fact, it is much better than other devices in the same price range. As you know, Grand 2 sports an 8 megapixels camera with full HD recording, whereas Moto G has got a 5 megapixels camera with HD recording. But don't worry, Moto G can play back full HD videos without any lag. The Indian version of Moto G gets an earphone inside the box, but that's a very basic quality headphone, and on the other hand, Grand 2 gets a very premium quality headphone with decent loudness and clarity. Well, now let's compare the benchmark results of both of these smartphones. First of all, I want to compare the Antutu result, which is basically the same, and as you can see, Moto G has got a slightly better result. You can pause here and compare different segments of these two smartphones. Let's run the Nina Mark II benchmark and check the graphics FPS. Here also we have got almost the same result, though again Moto G has got a slightly better result than Grand 2. The next benchmark I want to compare is this quadrant standard. Again we are getting almost the same result, but this time Moto G has got a slightly lower result than this Grand 2. So the processing power and the gaming performance of the smartphones will be more or less same, but you are getting Moto G at only 12,500 rupees. So this is a more value for money device compared to Grand 2, and the user interface is also the fastest you can get on any smartphone. Moto G is also very suitable for everyday normal uses because of its compact display size and great build quality, scratch resistant Gorilla Glass, and also minor water resistance. If you are a heavy user, then go for this Moto G, which is a very powerful phone and also very cheap at the same time. The Grand 2 here is basically for those people who badly need a large display phone with a good quality camera and decent features like multi-window, smart stay, adapt sound, and the camera of Grand 2 has also got nice modes like beauty face, best face, sound and shot, etc. And all of this you are getting at around 9,500 rupees extra. So if you are okay with that and also want a large display phone, then go for this Galaxy Grand 2. Otherwise, Moto G is a great device to buy. You will not find any other device with these specs in this price range. To know more about these devices, you can check the full reviews in my channel. Just check the description below and find the link of those reviews. Thanks for watching guys, keep in touch.